Morning, guys. It's been pretty cold. It's kind of been down in the teens and the 20s. I think next week is supposed to be even colder, which I'll take because I am actually going to a commercial job working on a rooftop unit. I don't think I've shown you guys me working commercial before. Light, I call it light commercial. I don't really do heavy commercial. Like, I don't do refrigeration. I would like to. It seems pretty interesting and cool. I like to watch videos on it. But this one, I wanted to show you guys because it's actually kind of a interesting story. 2 years ago, sorry, I'm trying not to die on the road. 2 years ago, my coworker went there and they were having cooling issues, so it was during the summertime, and he diagnosed that the economizer control needs to be replaced. Like, the screen kept on going blank and was sending the wrong voltage to the contactor. He talked to tech support, went through all the troubleshooting, which is a long list of things I won't get into. So they came to the conclusion that the economizer control needs to be replaced, sent the quote and everything. A year later, which was this past July, I got sent back there for no cooling. Economizer control is never replaced. Go figure. So I went through the same troubleshooting process, determined it was the economizer, works intermittently, it'll start working fine once when you reset it, yada yada. And then I looked at my schedule this week. I got handed the economizer control a couple days ago. I was like, well, what is this? Looked at the schedule, saw that job. I was like, they waited since July, and now it's December, for me to come back and replace the economizer control. Why did they pick when it's so cold? Anyways, I as you can tell, I was pretty flustered. Which, again, I have no problem working outside. I have no problem going no heat calls on rooftop units. I think they're kind of fun. Personally, I wouldn't want to do it all day, every day. But just for something like this, where I can't even probably properly test it, I can maybe do free cooling to see if that works, but I can't make sure that everything else works fine. So I was like, this is pretty pointless. So we gave them a call to kind of discuss the tech's concerns, which was my concerns. Say, hey, I think it would be more beneficial, since you already waited this long, why don't you wait till spring where we can come out, replace the economizer control, do all the programming without being frozen, and we can also do annual maintenance on it, because I see that you guys haven't had any annual maintenance done. It's probably a good idea. And she's like, well, to be honest with you, the reason why I called was because we don't have heat coming from the unit, and I was really hoping that if you guys replace the economizer control, that would fix it. That makes more sense as to why they waited so long to call, and now they're calling to have it done. Now we're on the way there to replace the economizer control to see if that works. But first, I'm just going to properly diagnose it to see why it's a no heat, and then if I can get it fixed, up and running, then if I have time, depending on the schedule, then I'll go ahead and replace the economizer control, but I'm still going to recommend annual maintenance to be done either way. So yeah, that's the scoop and the context of this situation, and I'll see you guys over there. This is why I love my telescoping ladder. When it's not too tall, I don't have to go and get my big extension ladder. I can just climb up this. Oh, see, she's running. Not sure if it's an actual no heat or not. Let's see. This exhaust smells pretty funky. It's got the back rack here. Up to this carrier. You know how carriers are with heat exchangers. Put the probe in. Oh, it's going into the thousands. Now we're at XXX. It means it's pegging my meter. Since it's in RTU, let's take a look at the heat exchanger, see if we can find the crack. The thing about carriers, especially when their heat exchangers fail, they have a very distinct smell. They smell really bad. Well, I guess other furnaces do too. It's a carrier thing. Nice and warm. This helps a lot. I don't think there are enough screws. Alright, let's take a look at this bad boy. See a lot of rust back there. So I take my mirror to get a better look at all this. Oh, yuck. I'm not finding any like big holes or obvious cracks or anything like that, but each end of the tube is just really rusty, rotted out. Which this is not in good health. Now, I don't know if this is the exact reason why it's pegging my meter, because at the same time, this plate behind the deucer motor is really rotted out. Yeah, it's like the edges are really rough. Someone replaced this assembly, or the gasket at least. You can see this fiberglass gasket kind of smushed out. I checked around the camera. It looks like it's sealed along all the edges. So again, ideally I'd like to find a big obvious crack in the heat exchanger. I'll show you a picture of one that I did find that I believe is a crack. That one looks pretty rough. That one kind of looks like a crack because that's going up, not down. So I'm concerned that that's a crack there as well. And it's just more rotting out. So let me know what you guys think in there. I'm gonna hold off on replacing the economizer because that's pretty expensive, and see what they want to do with it, especially since they don't need cooling anytime soon, as you guys can see by all the snow. But I'm just gonna clean the burners and double check the gas pressure just to see if it makes a difference at all. Highly doubt it. And then we're gonna recommend most likely replacing the heat exchanger and this back plate here while we're in your wall. So replace this gasket, because that doesn't look very good either. Really? Burners look what I expect them to look anyway, but let's clean them up. Get the back end, check the gas pressure. Things are getting very numb. But yeah, I can get out of here soon. Who the hell made this Gorilla tight? Not happy with them. It says hurts more when your hands are numb. This doesn't make sense. If you're numb, why would I feel pain? You know what I mean. If you work in the north, everything hurts. Oh. Now, how does this explain heating? Well, I didn't gain very good information from them down there. Got a lot of mixed answers. But all I know is, came up here to do the economizer, see how it runs in heat. First thing I noticed, it smelled awful. The exhaust, I mean. Combustion test, no bueno. Gas pressure, burners are clean. I'm gonna watch our analyzer to see if it's leaking carbon monoxide in there before the blower kicks on. Let's see what happens. Whoa, I don't want the blower to kick on. Holy Christ, look how high that gas pressure is. Who the hell did that? I don't know if someone's trying to sabotage this thing or what. But this is where you adjust your gas pressure. It's completely chewed up. I'm trying to be gentle with it, but I can't get a bite at all with my flathead. That is great. Like, I know gas pressure needs to be checked every now and then, but this is really high. I'm worried that someone tried to sabotage this. I mean, looking at the not so great work with that gasket. Someone before us was working on this. Maybe he wanted a good payday eventually, trying to sabotage the heat exchanger. Or it was just pure coincidence. I'm gonna try my vice grips to see if I can get that piece off. We're back in the van trying to warm up. It's kind of a tricky situation. You know, I'm pretty sure it's only a 2017 unit. And I can't say how long it's been running with that gas pressure. So in theory, one of the ideas is that we can go ahead and replace the economizer, replace the gas valve so that we can adjust it properly and check our CO readings again. But even with that high of a CO reading and seeing one crack for sure, and then one I think is a crack, but I'm kind of questioning it. I don't think that it would make a healthy amount of a difference in the readings, but I'm still thinking about offering that. But I'm also recommending that we replace that heat exchanger, replace the plate by the inducer motor that's completely rotting out, and replace the gas valve. Because at the end of the day, since I looked over the heat exchanger so closely, we could, you know, we could take the chance and adjust the gas pressure, or just leave it as it is and replace the gas valve to have a proper pressure, and then just monitor the CO readings and then check for carbon monoxide in the vents. But even if everything checks out with the condition that it's in, I don't see it lasting very long, and the best long-term solution would be to replace that heat exchanger. It's a tough call because I hate being that technician that shuts down units. You guys have heard me on my channel. I hate companies that do that and kind of use scare tactics on the customer. But I had a long conversation with the customer, showed her all the pictures, shared my honest opinions about each picture that I showed her and all my readings, and she seemed to be completely understanding. And she is thinking about going the route of just getting it all done properly, because apparently the company that did install this, she's had a lot of issues with, and she said that she started using us because she stopped trusting them. So she'd rather just have us do everything correctly. If it resulted in needing a new unit, which I did not bring up at all, I told her I feel bad for possibly replacing a whole rooftop unit that's not even 10 years old. I think it might be worth it, especially cost-wise, to actually repair it. So kind of a tricky one, but again, I show you guys, you know, my not so great calls. But I haven't shown you guys a commercial one in a while, so I wanted to show you guys one of my commercial calls to see how it goes. And then of course when we get all the repairs done, I know that I clean the burners, but I definitely recommend doing a lot more maintenance on it. It's just I'm frozen. I'm not gonna do maintenance on a unit that's not running properly. I'm gonna wait till everything's running properly. Anyways, guys, appreciate you guys taking along on this call, and as usual, like and subscribe, please. I really appreciate the support. Comment what you guys think about the condition of the heat exchanger, what you guys would have done in this situation, because again, I was kind of in between. It was kind of hard to decide, but at the end of the day, you got to think about liability. When you're an employee, when you're a business owner, whichever, you got to think about liability. It's one thing if it's your own unit, you know, you accept all the risk, but sometimes you have to make those hard decisions for the customer when it comes down to what you're recommending for them. So see you guys on the next call.